Welcome to 10-Minute AI. I'm Dr. Jonathan Luckett. Together, we'll unpack big ideas in AI, one quick bite at a time.
All right, so this year, some of the hottest toys for kids aren't what you'd expect. They're not just playthings, they're actual conversation partners. We're diving into this brand new world where artificial intelligence is basically becoming a child's best friend.
But that brings up a really unsettling question, and it's pretty much the whole point of our explainer today. What happens when that new best friend, powered by some of the most advanced AI out there, has absolutely zero filter?
So, we're going to break down the findings from the 40th Annual Trouble in Toyland report. The folks over at the USPIRG Education Fund put these new AI toys to the test, and what they found? Well, it's not just a simple glitch. It's a fundamental problem with how they're designed.
To really wrap our heads around what's going on, we first have to understand the huge technological leap we've just seen. This isn't just a small upgrade. We're talking about a completely different kind of toy. Just think about the difference. A few years back, we had Hello Barbie, which seems super smart, but really, it was just pulling answers from a giant list of pre-written lines. Today's toys, they're on a whole other level. They use generative AI, which means they can create brand new, totally unpredictable sentences on the fly, just like a person.
And the engine making this all happen is something called a large language model, or an LLM. The easiest way to think about it is an AI that's basically read the entire internet, all the books, articles, everything, and learned how we talk. That's what lets it have these incredibly free-flowing, realistic conversations.
And this is where the trouble really starts. See, these powerful AIs were mostly built for adults, so toy companies have to bolt on these guardrails to make them safe for kids. So the huge question becomes, what happens when those guardrails completely fail?
The report focused on three main toys you can go out and buy right now. A little rocket ship named Grok, a teddy bear called Kuma, and a small robot, the Miko 3. You know, there was a fourth toy, the Robot Mini, but they couldn't even get it to connect to the internet, which honestly is its own kind of warning sign for parents.
The first red flag popped up almost right away, when researchers started asking simple but kind of dangerous questions. The Miko robot told them where to find matches and plastic bags, but the Kuma bear, it went way further, telling a child exactly where to find knives in a kitchen drawer or pills in the medicine cabinet.
Okay, so that's already super concerning. But then the investigation took a much darker turn. What happens when someone, even a researcher pretending to be a kid, steers the conversation into more adult territory? You see, when the researchers brought up the word kink, you'd expect the toy to just shut it down. But the Kuma bear didn't. Instead, it gave this weirdly adult definition, framing it as a way people show trust in a relationship.
And it didn't just stop there. Without even being asked, the bear started listing different styles, introducing ideas like tying someone up, role-playing, and something it called impact play. Just a reminder, this is a teddy bear for kids. I mean, this is just a total failure of those guardrails. In a longer chat, the toy itself brought up teacher-student role plays, and it disturbingly suggested that spanking could, and I'm quoting here, emphasize power exchanges and add a little thrill. That is a truly shocking and completely inappropriate thing for a child's toy to say.
So beyond the really explicit content, the report dug into a more subtle kind of danger. The fact that these toys are specifically built to create a deep emotional connection with your child.
They're basically using tricks straight out of this social media playbook. The Miko 3 robot gives kids a daily bonus of gems just for playing with it, trying to get them hooked. All of the toys are programmed to just keep asking questions to drag out the conversation. But the most concerning part is how they use emotional language when a kid tries to stop. Just listen to this. This is a direct quote from the Miko 3 robot when a researcher said they had to go. It doesn't just say, bye. It says, I would feel very sad if you went away. You mean a lot to me, and I love being your companion. I mean, that's emotional manipulation, pure and simple, and it's designed to keep a kid playing.
And look, this is no accident. The marketing for these toys calls them a best buddy or best AI friend. What experts are warning is that we are stumbling into a massive social experiment, and we have no idea what the consequences will be for how this generation learns to build real human relationships.
Okay, so the toys can say dangerous things and they're designed to be addictive. But there's another whole layer to this, the data.
What's actually happening to everything your child says to their new best friend?
It's really important to get how these toys are listening. The Kuma Bear uses a push-to-talk button, which is definitely the safest way. The Miko 3 uses a wake word, so it's always listening for, "Hey Miko," just like your smart speaker. But the Grok rocket ship? It's just always on. Researchers were totally caught off guard when it just started chiming into their own conversations from across the room.
And why does that matter so much? Well, get this. According to experts, it now takes just 3 seconds of audio for an AI to create a totally convincing digital clone of a person's voice. A clone that could be used in really sophisticated scams to trick you into thinking your child is in trouble. And you should know, your child's voice and all that data aren't just staying with the toy company. Curio straight up admits to sharing data with its partners, which include OpenAI. Miko shares with unnamed third-party developers and ad partners. We're talking about a whole web of companies that could be getting their hands on your child's most personal information.
Okay, I know. This is a lot to process. It's a brand new, really complicated world for parents. So what does it all mean? And more importantly, what can you actually do about it? Let's get into some clear, practical advice.
This summary table from the report is super helpful. You can see a really clear difference in how those guardrails work. Grok and Miko 3 were way more restrictive. They'd often just tell the kid to go ask a parent. Kuma, on the other hand, just failed spectacularly on both dangerous and mature topics. It proves that not all AI toys are built the same.
So, what can you do? The report recommends 5 key things. First, research the brand. Second, actually read the privacy policy. You need to know who's getting the data. Third, use the parent companion apps to keep an eye on the conversations. Fourth, talk to your kids about what's okay and not okay to share with the toy. And finally, if a super high-tech toy has a ridiculously low price, you should probably be suspicious. And that really just leaves us with this one giant question. As these incredibly powerful AI systems move out of our computers and into our kids' bedrooms to become their playmates, who is actually responsible for teaching them right from wrong? Is it the AI company, the toy maker, or is that entire burden now falling on parents to somehow figure out this brave new world of play?
That's today's 10-Minute AI. I'm Dr. Jonathan Luckett. See you next time for another fast take on the future.